want you to watch this clip of a billionaire telling what's going on to commercial real estate. Rob, if you got this clip, go ahead and play this. Watch how he describes work from home in U.S. compared to other countries. Go ahead, Rob.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the jobs in terms of office spaces. I've heard you talk about the balance sheet issue, and we know there's close to $1 trillion of office space coming due. You've said a nice little recession is going to bring people back to these office spaces.
Happened today.
Exactly.
IBM said you have to go back to work.
So, but this is a uniquely U.S. problem, you say.
Well,
now,
we would have a problem in real estate, in every sector of real estate, not just office, because of the 500 basis point increase in rates that was vertical. The fact that one asset class never recovered, people never went back to work in the United States, in the office market has an existential crisis right now. And so, it's a $3 trillion asset class that's probably worth $1.8 trillion. There's $1.2 trillion of losses spread somewhere, and nobody knows exactly where it all is. And Signature Bank was sold, and we bid on it. There were buildings in New York that were $100 million. The guy bought it for $200, the loan was $100, we thought it was worth $30 million. There's a building for sale right now in San Francisco, was bought for $850 a foot, the loan was $450 a foot, they'll sell it for $250 a foot.
Wow.
I mean, that's 25 cents on the dollar. That would mean we lost 3/4 of the total asset class. Now, this asset class is not just owned by rich people, it's owned by pension plans and other people, small investors. We're not just talking about towers, we're talking about the buildings that surround towns and municipalities. But
what happens to those cities? What happens with
there is a bright spot. The office situation is a completely U.S. phenomenon. I just was in Munich last week, and rents in Munich are up 15%. The vacancy rate in Munich is 2% for Class A. In Seoul, Korea, it's 1%. In Tokyo, it's 4%. Everyone's back to work except for Americans. We've gone off the deep end. We don't show up for work, we don't apply for jobs, and we don't feel like we have to go back to the office.
Bingo.
Wow.
Bingo. The only country that is not gone back to work and working from office is America.
Weird.
Is America with commercial real estate. Now, a couple guys are, completely being rebels. This one guy just bought $900 million worth of real estate.
Damn.
In San Francisco, out of all the cities, he bought Ian Jacobs, descendant of the Reichman of real estate dynasty, seeks to invest approximately $900 million acquiring vacant office space in San Francisco, targeting an estimated 3 million square feet of property with $75 million already secured for his venture known as Project Eurus. Jacobs aims to purchase office building at a substantial discount, approximately 70% below prevailing construction costs, signaling a potential investment opportunity amidst a fluctuating market influenced by potential Federal Reserve rate cuts. Tom, how accurate is he to what he's saying, and how much of it will change in America?
He's absolutely accurate, and that was down there. We went down there. That was the iConnect conference. It was just a couple of weeks ago down in Miami. So we went down there and heard smart people talking about things, stuff that not everyone and not all the media really even understands, and it's not complicated. But he's absolutely right. What's happening in America is downtown and in these areas surrounding municipalities, exactly as he says, there's vacancy rates. And what's happened is, therefore, the demand is down, so the price is down. And what he is saying is bubble-like. He said there's $3 trillion of total, loan value out there, but there's only $1.8 trillion of actual asset value. So as an asset class, $1.2 trillion is missing. It's just like The Big Short, where the housing values have went down, but it's on paper. But the minute someone has to transact is when it becomes real. That's what he's talking about. The one in San Francisco. In the 800s a foot is where they are. The fourth that they bought, they financed half of it in the 400s a foot, and now they're willing to sell it at the 200s a foot and take the loss. So what's happening is there's a lot of things that are cropping up right now. Number one, you're going to have the banks in trouble on the commercial real estate for the reasons he said. The second thing that's happened is we also have a housing crisis and a low-income housing crisis, and so there are a lot of organizations out there that are getting venture funding right now that are talking about converting high rises to condos and apartments to make affordable in-city housing. I don't mean low-income housing. This would just be affordable for young professionals, single professionals. So I think there's about to be a conversion. Number one, there's going to be a terrible financial fallout because people are not going to be able to pay their loans with rent they're not receiving on the commercial side. So number one, there's going to be a fallout and adjustment, which banks are going to win, which are going to lose. Bet on Jamie. Secondly, and the private equity groups like he's talking about. And the second thing, there's going to be a repurposing of a lot of these buildings, and we're going to see apartment buildings built within office buildings. And we're already seeing venture funding companies right now doing exactly that.
This guy you just heard of, he's worth $3.8 billion with $100 billion of assets under management called Starwood. That's the chairman of it.
Yeah.
Who you just heard
really?
from.
Very
He's-
Sternlicht.
He's not a
He
regular guy.
looks rich.
Yeah,
I'm going to share just a quick story. Real estate is a tricky game, man. I'm not a real estate investor. You know, I'm more of an equities guy. I'm in the stock market. I've never purchased a home. And, you know, I've said that I think a lot of times it is overrated. It's a tricky game. I've seen people make massive amounts of money, and I've seen people lose massive amounts of money. It's not easy. Where am I going with this? I have a friend that was a massive real estate investor, massive, in Miami. You might have met him. And his company went under. And he was dealing with a lot of challenges and a lot of funding issues, especially with everything that's happening. And yesterday, I went to his funeral.
What?
Yeah, because he was worth millions, and he had to start over at zero. And he decided to not start over. And he decided to just end it.
Oh, sorry.
And it was the most horrible, tragic, like, this is the most fun-loving, energetic, like, connector type of a guy. Anytime in Miami, it was like, hey, we're all having a big get-together. It's Christmas. It's the holidays. Like, he was that guy. And, yeah, this happened about a week ago. And nobody understood what happened. We thought that it was an overdose or something. I don't know. He definitely would go out and party, but that wasn't his thing at all. And his father gave a speech yesterday at his memorial. And, you know, look, his name is Oliver. I won't give you his last name. His father said, listen, I lived with him for the last 7 weeks, and we've been processing this entire situation. And we talked about life and death and reincarnation and Buddhism and Judaism and religion and meaning and purpose and vision, and ultimately the understanding that he needed to start over and rebuild his entire multi-million-dollar business. And he didn't want to start over. And he took his own life.
Oof,
and it's sad and it's
How old?
horrible.
How old?
He is my age. He's 43 years old.
Damn.
Sorry
That's
for your
horrible.
God
loss.
rest his
man.
soul.
No, I mean, it's
Sucks.
It's one of those things. We have a lot of people they're in real estate, and they think that just buy real estate and you're a millionaire now. It doesn't work that way. Interests, supply, demand, everything in the economy. Real estate is a tricky game. It's not easy, and a lot of people can go belly up because it's not liquid, and it's brick and mortar, literally. And when the game changes, and the current comes out of the ocean, and you're left swimming naked, so to speak, it's not easy to recover. And it's a horrible tragedy. And I'm sorry to even tell this story, but these are the types of stories that pop up when these types of things happen in the economy.
It's believe it or not, this happens in stock market as well.
Yeah.
You know what happens when guys are in stocks. I mean, I heard stories like that when I got involved with Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter.
Yeah.
And that happened day before 9/11.
Oh.
We had one of the guys that this took place to. It's tough.
I can only imagine.
And you know who typically it happens to? For the people that are risking everything, hoping for an explosion, and boom, all of a sudden market turns. It is to go from the identity of the guy that has money to go to this.
Sure.
But at the same time, and this is where you need God. This is where you need to to believe in a higher power, to know that the future looks bright, no matter how ugly things may be. There's a lot of people that are watching this. That is not a story to inspire you. That is a story to challenge you to realize that there's better things in the future to look forward to. There was a study done about the guys that were committing suicide off the bridge, where they jumped off, and the survivors off the San Francisco Bay Bridge.
Shit.
It's a phenomenal document. It's not even a documentary. It's like a 30-minute thing that YouTube did, and they interviewed the survivors. You know what 100% of them said?
What'd they say?
The moment I let go of my hand, I regretted my decision.
Oh my God.
The moment I let go of my hand, I regretted my decision, because all I thought about was everybody I loved. All I thought about is everybody I was going to hurt. Every one of them said they regretted doing that. I interviewed one of the guys. That did this for a living. It's a very interesting story. But
in entrepreneurship, especially, there's so much pressure. I mean, your most famous video ever is The Life of an Entrepreneur. You know, people see the end. People see the winning. People see the success. They see the cars and everything, the accolades. They don't see all the pressure and the sleepless nights and the drama and anxiety and the pressure. They don't see it.
Yeah, it's
tough to deal with, man.
Some of you guys have been asking about PBD Podcast gear. We finally have it. Here's your PBD Podcast gear you were asking about. That mug, if you order today, the PBD Podcast hat or the PBD Podcast shirt combined together, you get the mug for free on the house. We'll send it over to you. And remember, if supply you order over $70, shipping is free. And this mug you see me holding right now, when you put a hot coffee or hot tea or hot water in it, it turns into the PBD Podcast colors that we got. So if you're at the office working, if you want to go brag about the fact that you listen to content and you can entertain opposing ideas and see it could spark a conversation with others, go get yourself the hat, the shirt, and we'll send a mug over to you.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.